Oh, you're going to go to a restaurant this week?
Catching up on the day.
Okay.
Ann Latham Anderson and her son Daniel look over his new school pictures.
Those are so cool. I like them. You look handsome.
The pair communicate using sign language because Daniel is deaf. He also has a complicated dental case. So even though they live deep in Goochland, Mom opted to stick with Daniel's dentist after she moved to a new pediatric practice in Richmond, Dr. Richard Bird and Associates.
And I know that she has just a really high standard of care, so I didn't even give it any thought.
But after a few visits there, she says her son's dentist confided in her that the practice was not properly cleaning the handpieces used to remove cavities and polish fillings. The video of the dental equipment you're seeing that's being used in this story is from a different practice not involved in these allegations.
As she said that she was told to her, they were just simply wiping them down rather than sterilizing them in between patients. I was mortified.
Daniel's dentist agreed to speak with CBS 6 under the condition we not identify her.
I don't know what else to do, but parents need to know.
She says she learned about the sterilization issue in late August when a staff member told her that the practice only had one working high-speed handpiece and that it was only being wiped off with an intermediate level disinfectant between patients.
You're supposed to, after it has been used on a patient, you are to take it to a separate sterilization area. It should be cleaned and lubricated with a special fluid. It should be packaged and then placed into a heat sterilizer or an autoclave.
So bacteria or pathogens could have remained on the
Absolutely.
equipment.
Blood, saliva, bacteria, and viruses. Viruses are more likely to remain there.
The dentist says she also learned the lines that supply the water used to clean patients' teeth were not being properly treated to CDC guidelines, which recommend all dental units use systems that treat water to meet drinking water standards.
And if you're not properly taking care of the water that's being used, what could develop in the water?
Well, it creates a biofilm, and it's heterotrophic bacteria that can live and multiply in those lines. Things like E. coli, endotoxins, which are a very serious concern. MRSA has been found inside of these lines.
Another dentist at the practice corroborated this account to CBS 6, and we were provided with emails and texts from a third dentist who had collected samples of the water at the Forest Hill Avenue Clinic and sent them to a lab to be tested. The results show a heterotrophic bacteria count 13 times greater than acceptable drinking water standards. Daniel's dentist tells us that she immediately reached out to a number of staff members about the issue and showed us this text chain between multiple dentists at the practice. These texts from one dentist said, quote, "My texts are telling me more stuff. I feel ill. My mind is blown right now. Our OSHA officer claims she never actually received proper training, which is obvious," end quote. And this text from another dentist reads, quote, "I think Bird is covering his butt, not trying to make it right for the patients," end quote. Daniel's dentist says she also emailed the owner of the practice, Dr. Richard Bird, and his general manager, Reed Souter, on August 27th.
So over the course of the following week after this occurred, I got several email updates from the owner and the manager saying that they were working to take corrective action to protect the staff and the patients.
In various emails between Souter and Daniel's dentist, he thanks her for, quote, "bringing to our attention some areas of concern that have given us the opportunity for improvement," end quote. He tells her he ordered new handpieces and was evaluating their infection control sterilization systems and will make any necessary changes. He said the practice scheduled the installation of an inline water filtration system for each dental unit, along with the cleaning of each water line and full laboratory testing. He said they also scheduled staff-wide OSHA training. In another email, Dr. Bird himself told her, quote, "I am extremely concerned," and said the issues are being addressed. But the whistleblower says she still felt compelled to file a complaint with the Virginia Department of Health Professions.
In the hopes that they would immediately step in to keep patients from being treated until the details of this possible infection control breach could be evaluated.
Though the owner of Dr. Richard Bird and Associates Forest Hill office had told her that her concerns about the cleanliness of handpieces and the condition of the water were being addressed, a pediatric dentist tells CBS 6 that she was so concerned for her patients that she filed a complaint with the Virginia Department of Health Professions, which oversees the Board of Dentistry. She says she hoped they would immediately step in and keep patients from being treated pending an investigation. But the dentist says it took the department over a month to request additional information about her complaint. This email from a state investigator shows the state requesting that information.
It feels like the only person being protected is the practice.
3 other dentists allowed their names to be included in the complaint, and Daniel's mom filed her own. Daniel's mom also says Dr. Bird never told her that her son may have been exposed to unsanitary equipment and water, though she says Bird did call, but just to let her know that OSHA changed their regulations. She recorded the conversation, transcribed it, and showed us a copy.
So never mentioned that something hadn't been done properly.
No, in fact, I specifically said, does that mean that there was something that was not up to OSHA standards that you have now rectified? And he said, no, no, no. That just means that when they make changes, we make our patients aware.
And that's why Daniel's dentist says she turned to the CBS 6 problem solvers because she doesn't believe the practice ever informed parents about the issues.
And at this point, you believe that they have not been notified?
That's correct. It is my understanding that patients do not know what happened, that they have been exposed to infectious material. As far as I am aware, no patient has been offered counseling or testing.
We called the practice and spoke with the general manager over the phone. He told us the practice is beyond compliance and maintained OSHA standards across the board. He said they only had one incident where an instrument was cleaned with a high-level disinfectant instead of being sterilized with an autoclave, and he said they alerted the 2 patients in question. Reed Souter also claimed the practice had the dental board come by and investigate, and they found no incidences of non-compliance. And he claimed that Daniel's dentist was a disgruntled employee. Souter offered to give us a tour of the clinic, and we were in the process of scheduling that when he texted to say the practice had retained legal counsel and all questions should be directed to their lawyer.
Did you have a good week?
Daniel's mom says she took her son to a pediatrician, and he tested negative for any problems potentially related to his visits to Dr. Bird's office. But he still has to wait several more months and be retested before he is completely in the clear.
You expect, as a patient, to have some protection against these kinds of things. And from what I can tell, the only person protected is the practice, and the patients are not protected.
Now, CBS 6 contacted the Department of Health Professions, but they would not confirm to us that they are investigating these allegations. Daniel's dentist has filed a whistleblower lawsuit through OSHA, claiming that Bird's practice stopped scheduling her to work because of her complaints. Meanwhile, the attorney representing Dr. Bird and his practice sent the station a letter in response to Daniel's dentist's allegations. Now, in that letter, the attorney states that federal law prohibits the disclosure of any patient care information. Therefore, the disclosure of any patient care information would be improper. The attorney also states that a complaint filed by Daniel's dentist to the Virginia Occupational Safety and Health Department alleging improper sterilization and waterline safety was closed by VOSH, and the agency took no action against Dr. Bird. Furthermore, the lawyer wrote Dr. Bird and his practice fully cooperated with the Virginia Department of Health Professions' review of the matter, and no comment can be made on that review. He also said Dr. Bird and his team provided and continue to provide excellent patient care, and the care is supplemented by routine and regular OSHA safety training, education, and inspections. He highlighted that there is no evidence of any patient being harmed at Dr. Bird's office. Working for you, I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.